Finally, after many months on the road, back in Boston, just in time for the first big snowstorm of the year. I'm not necessarily a big snow guy, but the first one of the year is undeniably beautiful. Deep winter was setting in here in New England, but that didn't mean I was going to stop fishing. I gave it a couple days, but then I mustered up the will to take the 2-hour drive south to my favorite winter fishery in the area. Well, favorite, maybe that's a loaded word, because this river has frustrated me endlessly over the years. Now, don't get me wrong, I've certainly caught some awesome fish here. This river's known for its large, wild brown trout. There are some rainbows mixed in for sure, but the browns are the real prize here. I'm of course talking about the most popular and crowded winter fishery in New England, the Farmington River tailwater. If the conditions are right, there's usually a pretty awesome dry fly bite early in the morning, right after sunrise. Ideally, you're looking for a sunny day, a little warmer without much wind, and right off the bat I could tell that this was not one of those days. And here's the crux of my problem. If there's not a good dry fly bite, I'm usually out of luck. For whatever reason, I cannot nymph this river at all. I know it can be done. I follow all the Instagram accounts, and I've seen all the pictures of big fish that they post, but for whatever reason, it's not in my wheelhouse. It was cold and cloudy this morning, but the wind at least hadn't picked up yet. I was hoping eventually the fish would become more surface-oriented. But of course, the wind did pick up, and pretty quickly. It's not like I never catch fish nymphing. I've caught one standing on this rock in the past, but not today. After nymphing this run for a while to no avail, I switched spots to an area I've had some subsurface luck in the past. This is a pretty popular spot, but it wasn't a nice day, so there weren't that many anglers on the water. These days are so short, so these were probably the last couple pools I had time for. Couldn't hurt to do a quick rock check. I got the approximate size and color anyway. There are really narrow bite windows here in the winter. You might just have an hour where the fish are feeding, and if you're not in the right spot, you're out of luck. But this is a quality over quantity game this time of year. All it takes is one nice fish to really turn the day around. Like I said, all it takes is one, and this one felt really good. And just like that, this winter day on the river is done. I picked up some snacks at the local general store and began my drive home. Good fish, good day, but I couldn't let a winter go by without hitting a Farmington River dry fly bite. Up and at 'em. Have to be at the river before the fish wake up. I gotta say, being used to a more western commute to a river on mainly dirt roads and with a lot of solitude, a little jarring to share the road with so many people. And to top it off, in the winter, everyone gets funneled to the same few places anyway, so I was headed to a pretty popular spot. If you've been down here and fished this river before, you probably know exactly where I am, and I'll just leave it at that. Sometimes the most popular spot is the most popular spot for a reason. I've caught more fish in this pool than probably the rest of the river combined in the winter months. Another very cold morning, but much better weather forecast this time around. Sunny, no winds. I had a really good feeling. A really encouraging sign. You'd be surprised by how many winter caddis and winter stoneflies are around in the mornings here. The first rise of the morning signals it's time to focus, time to lock in. You just probably won't get that many opportunities during this brief window that the fish are looking up. Whew, that was devastating. That was a really nice fish. And then I made a couple sloppy casts to the next few risers. It had been a few months since I'd done any technical dry fly fishing, and you can see the rust pretty clearly. There was no shortage of rising fish. This one on the far side was very consistent and looked pretty sizable. Just couldn't quite reach him or couldn't get the right drift. Either way, he was not interested. Luckily for me, I got one more shot. Even with my best efforts to botch this hook set too, this was a solid one. This was my best fish of the entire winter, a beautiful, wild Connecticut brown trout. Winter dry fly fish. Hard to beat in New England. Nice little guy. Feels good. There's a couple patterns I've dialed in over the years, but this is the smallest one, and of course it catches the most fish. Small is necessary in the winter sometimes. Maybe most importantly, with that fish, I finally got to take the plastic off my new Ant 5 weight. I figured I'd played that spot out a little, so I'd quickly pivot to another pool I've had some dry fly luck, hoping the wind would hold off just a little longer. There were a few scattered risers here and there, and the bugs were definitely still around. Unfortunately, the fish were feeding kind of inconsistently, so I had a really hard time dialing it in. It was getting a little late in the morning, and the dry fly bite was sort of coming to an end. And then the wind picked up, so I switched to nymphing, and we know nothing humbles me like a winter day nymphing on the Farmington. I did spot a small pot of risers on the far side. I tried to make this long, tricky cast, but I couldn't get the drift right at all. I crossed at the top of the pool and made a careful approach. That's 2 out of 3 hooked fish that popped off on the day.
Okay. Hopefully they'll start rising again.
And then another missed hook set to boot. After giving the fish a while to reset, I took my position again, but this time with some company at the top of the pool. I couldn't even really believe this happened at the time, and now I just kind of have to laugh. What can I even say except keep your dogs under control, people? As you would expect, the fishing completely shut off after that. I gave Nymphing one last shot, but I was pretty sick of bobber watching at this point. Either way, it was getting late, and I thought it was time to get out of these cold, leaky waders and end the day. Another winter, and my love-hate relationship with the Farmington continues. Amazing quality of fish, but too many people, and I just can't seem to crack the code for 90% of the day. Time to say goodbye to this river for another year, and sometime I'll have to fish it in the warmer months. I feel like I'm missing out. Even with all its frustrations, the Farmington still holds a special place in my heart during the winter months.